Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Another quick little video just to talk a little bit about technology in relation to your Tesla Model 3. If you see here on the screen, this is an area that I think Ben Sullins from Teslanomics touched on this a little bit before, and that is this little guy right here, the Wifi Pineapple, which I have one. And just broader subject is what we see here on the screen is security. Now, a key thing about the Tesla Model 3 is it's always connected to a network somewhere. But the bigger thing is that you connect to your Wi-Fi network at home to get updates, right? So that's one area to consider is anytime you have to connect to Wi-Fi, Wi-Fi, however you pronounce it, there are inherent security risks. And this is pretty important when you're talking about your car, right? And just your, whatever network you're connecting to, who knows what information they could get. It'd be really bad if, at some point down the road, some hacker out there found a way to easily get in to your network and maybe steal your identity and things like that. So maybe even take your car. So anyway, here's an area that there's a few things you can do. We'll just cover some of those points. So you can see here, we've got Kaspersky. That's one of the links. I got a lot of links here. I'll quickly go over. And I will put these links in the description of this video so you can kind of check them out for yourself. But what's a guest Wi-Fi network and why do you need one? So, recently Tesla forced owners to connect to Wi-Fi in order to get software updates. And that means now that you kind of really have to connect to a network somewhere to do it. Some people, maybe when they go to Supercharge, they'll connect to, a restaurant or some other Wi-Fi network. And there's a whole bunch of things in this video that I really want to talk about, but I actually have a separate YouTube video I did for a technology group that I'm part of here in Prince George that touches on a lot of these subjects. So I'm not going to touch all of the points here, but one thing that I want to mention in this video is if you do connect to a Wi-Fi network, like let's say your home network, if your network has this thing called a guest network, all the security experts, one of the best practices they all talk about is using that guest network. And we'll talk about why, but you can see here, Kaspersky says, why do you need a guest network? And they talk about Internet of Things. Anytime you see this text here, IoT, that stands for Internet of Things. And really, in a way, your Model 3 is an Internet of Things. It's like a device that's connected to your internet network. It's connected to your home LAN as well. Here's another link from Tom's Guide, how to secure your easily hackable smart home, right? Your car is really part of your smart home. It's not really much different. It's just a bigger device. And a lot of people don't think of a car that way. But really, we've heard a lot of these videos, people say it's computer on wheels, especially the Tesla Model 3. But really, a lot of the other car manufacturers are really getting to the same point. So security, and from a technology point of view, should be a priority. And we should have some things that we talk about in this area. Here's another one, PCWRT. Put your Internet of Things devices on a guest network. Here's another one. Now even the FBI is warning about your smart TV's security. Right, smart TVs, they're, became very popular in the last, half a decade to a decade, and a lot of them have security issues that a lot of people don't think of. In the same way that Tesla Model 3s, becoming mainstream, people don't think about technology security. We have the FBI coming out this past December, recommending that you keep your Internet of Things devices on a separate network. What are all these things talking about? So, I will link this. I have a whole presentation here. These are my Google Slides on the presentation. And I think it was slide number 9 is where I'm talking about putting your Internet of Things devices on a separate part of your network, either a guest network or what I'm calling is a separate segment of the network. And yeah, let's get to, I have a picture here somewhere. Even the Department of Defense has this one as one of their best practices. But yeah, so if we take a look at this picture, this is a video from another YouTuber, Lawrence Systems. He's a really good security/IT provider out of Michigan. And he has a lot of good videos talking about this kind of thing. And this is a video which I will also link, where he steps through how to set up a virtual LAN so that you can isolate your smart home devices on a separate part of your network, which is separate from, say, your desktop, your, where you do your banking, different things like that. And essentially what you want to do is, let's say you have, some wireless devices over here, you have some wireless devices over here. Really what you want to do is, like, you want to take your Model 3, your smart TVs, maybe your security cameras, all those kinds of things, and put them on a part of the network that does not have access to your critical assets. Like you might have a network attached storage at home, like a device that has all your pictures or something like that. Hopefully you have backups of your important information, but you don't want to give access to those smart devices to your critical assets on your network. All right, so I have a little screenshot here of my cell phone where I configured, you can see guest Wi-Fi settings. Hopefully your router has support for something like this. I guess simple consumer products will say something like guest Wi-Fi or whatever. So you turn that on, you give a different network name to that and set your security information, different password. And the reason you do this, and this is the network that I connect my Tesla to and my other smart home devices, so that if for some reason there's ever a security issue, at least they don't get access to everything else on the network and things like that. So that's one of the best practices. And there's a lot more things to consider when it comes to where you connect your Tesla Model 3 to when you go to like superchargers or any other fast chargers or wherever. It's just a good idea to not connect your Model 3 or your cell phone or any of your devices to, first of all, an open network. And an open network is those networks that when you connect to them, they don't ask you for any passwords or anything like that, because typically those networks are not encrypted, and anyone can basically see what you're doing on the network. They can extract any personal information and all that kind of thing. It's just not secure. And if you want more details, like I said, I'll link in a presentation that I did where I talk about network security. I'll also link in Lawrence Systems, his presentation on how to configure a VLAN or guest network or whatever for your Internet of Things. And just another thing which I didn't really touch on yet, and it's, like this Wi-Fi Pineapple and many other devices like that, that is, even if you go to one of these superchargers and you connect to a secure network, with devices like that Wi-Fi Pineapple I just showed you, and there's a host of other ones, it allows people to, even if you're connected to a secure network, to find a way to gain access, to find out that password, and then they can get on the network, and then they can potentially monitor what you're doing on the network and stuff like that. So basically, I guess the bottom line there is don't be silly and do banking from your web browser of your Tesla Model 3 or anything like that when you're connected to a network that you don't necessarily trust. Whether it's some restaurant's Wi-Fi or coffee shop Wi-Fi or anything like that, is just not a good idea. So hopefully get some value from this video, and if you have any questions, leave comments. I'll see if I can help answer them, but I will leave a lot of links. Thanks.